All right, so we're back. Whew. It's funny. I was watching. Hold on one second. I was watching a video, Asmongold or Kira TV or one of these douchebags, and just about Ashes of Creation. And it's funny, like they lifted the NDA, right? On actually, it wasn't even one of those videos. It was by some other streamer I'd never even heard of before. And there's actually so many streamers out there that are kind of talking about Ashes of Creation. They're all like over the moon, thinking like how great this game is going to be. It's going to be amazing, and it's just so funny because they lifted the verbal NDA. So I've gone and watched about 4 or 5 videos on Ashes of Creation talking about giving their feedback on, what the alpha was like, right? And everybody's like, oh, just keep in mind it's just the alpha and the game's nowhere near ready and all that. And I completely understand the game's not ready. I completely understand it's an alpha. But I also understand that the game was funded. The game started development. You can look it up online. They started development in 2017. So the game's been in development for almost 4 years. 4 years, right? And I'm still hearing comments in the alpha. Now, this is 4 years of game development of the client crashing constantly, skills not working correctly, uh, Dash bugging out, Dash not being consistently the same amount of time that when you execute the Dash ability that it should be. No really UI customization, no keybinds. To auto attack, you're hitting the Q key over and over. You can't hold the key down. Just and then the list goes on and on and on. And I'm like, and you can sit there and tell me till your face turns blue that this is only an alpha and they're trying to work out all these bugs, and that's fine. That's fine. I get it. But what I'm trying to say is that these guys are nowhere near like a release for Ashes of Creation. And of course they're not supposed to be. It's only alpha, but some of the issues they're having, like terrible optimization, which is fine. Again, in an alpha you might have bad optimization, but to me, I see warning signs, and I mean the signs I see are that they're basically a little bit in over their head. Their their node system is nowhere near working the way it should. And when your game's been in development for 4 years and your node system isn't even working correctly, I just feel like these are an alpha really should be your core systems are in place, but you're working out all the bugs. I mean, that's what an alpha. I mean, I disagree with what some people say an alpha is, right? Like a beta is when everything's pretty much done. You're just finishing out the final like polishing things. That's a beta, right? Like a beta is like game's mostly done. We're just adding the polish. We're cleaning stuff up. We're finalizing maybe some cut scenes. Maybe we're finalizing some quest text or, just polishing it up, making sure there's no spelling mistakes. You're doing minor tweaks basically. And alpha is where you're still trying to figure out, there's still major changes going on, but the core system should be pretty much fleshed out. And from what I'm hearing in a lot of the verbal NDA, is that that's not really the case. Which again, you know, whoa, this is an interesting looking bar. Again, it's not a huge deal. They may, they could delay the game until 2023, and have plenty of time to make a fantastic game. And I hope, I bash on Ashes Creation a lot because I do not like Steven Sharif. I think he's a shyster. I don't think he's an honest person. I think he's kind of a jerk. He's proven that in his comments time and time again that he's kind of a jerk, and he's kind of a basically a narcissistic, you know, jerk. Basically, he's proven that quite a few times. So I don't really trust him as a creative director of his own company. Um, but like I said, I hope the game turns out to be good. But I just don't have any faith. And the biggest reason I don't have faith is because of Steven, is because he's in charge. Because I don't think his personality is the kind of personality that can really be able to manage the waters that he needs to navigate to make an MMO that's successful. I think that he feels like he knows everything there is to know about how to run an MMO and how it should be, but I don't think he's I don't think he is it really knows what he needs to know. Anyways, but just listening to I'm just you know some of the stuff I'm hearing is a little surprising to me, coming from a game that's already been in development for 4 years. Like World of Warcraft was done in 5 years, right? Now, of course, Ashes of Creation probably has more complicated systems than WoW did initially. There's nothing in Ashes of Creation that is anything amazing or different than what I've seen in other MMOs, right? The combat doesn't look that good. The combat's still got all kinds of problems with it. The quest system is very generic. There's nothing amazing about the quest system. There's no dynamic events from what I've heard or seen. The so-called node system is nowhere near, you know, ready. And yet it's supposed to be this big MMO that's going to save the MMO genre. I don't know where, obviously that hype was probably is driven by Steve and Sharif, is driven by Ashes of Creation. Intrepid Studios drove that hype. They're the ones who went around touting it the game to bring back, the real MMO, to bring back the game that people love, or the concept of MMOs that people love. That was really their initial kind of, advertisement campaign. And if you guys don't know, MMOs spend a enormous amount of money on advertising. They spend a ton of money on, on like promoting the game. In fact, I think it was like Guild Wars 2 or some of these other games. They spent like upwards of like, millions of dollars, literally millions, on just promoting the game. So, anyways, it'd be great if it comes out and it's a great game, but we just have to, time will tell. Time will tell. Where is? See it here. But I get sick of. I get sick of hearing about it. Ashes of Creation. And I think what gets me irritated is that people will jump on the bandwagon of an idea, and that's what Kickstarter has really proven and shown to people, that people will jump all over an idea, even if there's no concrete evidence whatsoever that idea is even a good one or that it'll ever work. And a perfect example of that is Dreamworld. Like if you look at Dreamworld, like it's like the most ridiculous Kickstarter of all time, but people gave it like $70,000 or whatever. But there's no concrete evidence whatsoever that there's any kind of game there. The people developing it have no experience in game industry. None. Zero. At least with Ashes of Creation, there's a couple people there on the team who have a ton of experience. There's a programmer there who's got about 10 years experience in games. And, so there's definitely some people on the team that have the ability. But I just think it's one of those companies where when you have someone like Steven at the helm, it's just destined to run off the rails, man. It's destined to run off the track. What's up, Reptilian? I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I was super hyped for WildStar. WildStar and Guild Wars 2 were the last two MMOs that I was pretty excited for, like really excited for. Like I'm excited for Pantheon, but I'm not that excited because Pantheon doesn't have the graphics, doesn't have the combat that I like in MMOs. So I'm excited that I hope it'll be a game that's got a good community and that's challenging, That's where I'm excited for that game, but it'll never be the MMO I've dreamed about, the MMO that I would like, the one that I would deem to be like the best MMO, or the one that really brings back my love of MMOs, because it just doesn't check all the boxes, for me. But it's still pretty early in the development, So they can still, improve the graphics. They can still improve the combat system, and the combat system doesn't have to be great. I think if World of Warcraft proved anything, it proved that a combat system doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to look good, has to have a pretty decent feel to it. It's got to be smooth. The animations have to be pretty good, and they have to be pretty easy to see what's going on. And when you cast spells, and one of the biggest things about WoW's combat system that's a benefit to WoW's combat system is that when you're casting a spell, everybody knows what it is. Like when I start casting, everybody's like, "Oh, it's a frostbolt," right? Or I start casting this, "Oh, it's a fireball." That is one of the greatest aspects of WoW's combat system, because if you're doing PvP, excuse me, and you want to counter someone's spells, you have to be able to identify their spells. And a lot of MMOs, the spells are so either similar to other spells, or they're cast very quickly, or there's just so much particle effects flying all over the screen. It's hard to see one person's spell that's maybe being clouded by everybody else's, stuff like that. But I think that's one of the WoW's biggest advantages to its combat system. Now, I do think the Ashes of Creation spells, the way they're designing them, they actually are pretty clear. They're pretty easy to see what's going on because they do stupid shit like I'm gonna cast a meteor storm, and so my character floats up into the air and starts raising his hands, and and they're very long casts. They're not quick. Like if you look, let's see if we can pull them up. Okay, so they do this, and I'm gonna log out here just so I don't get killed. These spells do this stupid jumping animation, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why in real world. Like think about. I'm sorry, something in the back of my throat. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. In the real world, like when I think of Dungeons and Dragons, and I always draw from Dungeons and Dragons, right? I always draw from like Sword and Sorcery and Dungeon Crawlers for my MMO, like kind of like what I'm looking for an experience in an MMO game, right? It's really Sword and Sorcery. It's Dungeons and Dragons, right? And what kind of a spellcaster in the middle of a dungeon is going to fly up in the air and spin around and look like he's freaking an acrobat, right? It just doesn't make any sense, right? I don't know why you would do this. Another thing that I don't like about Ashes of Creation is I don't like the armor. It doesn't really look like it fits on the character models. I mean, this is I don't know, it's supposed to be some sort of metal mixed with cloth or something, but it you can see here where it doesn't really lay across his neck correctly. There's no depth to this. I mean, it doesn't look right, right? Like the skin of his neck, like when your chin goes down into your neck, it kind of slides in. It's concave. There's a bend in here, right? But you don't really see this kind of bending in to fit, and you don't see enough space or shadows here. So there's no realism at all. It's just ugly. It's just not. It doesn't look like the armor pieces are. They don't look realistic. They don't look like they're sized right. They don't look like they're really laying on his body. It just doesn't look good, right? And I've seen that throughout Ashes of Creations, the character models, in my opinion. And also, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen has the same problem. A lot of the Pantheon Rise of the Fallen characters, in my opinion, and their character models look really like their armor doesn't match their character models. And that's a problem that you can run into in an MMO, right? Now, for example, if we look at World of Warcraft, this looks a lot better. I mean, it still doesn't look good. I'm not a fan of a lot of the WoW. Like the sword, I think looks stupid. The feet are terrible. But at least the armor here on this orc looks like the armor is made in the same game where the character model was made. Whereas if I go back to the Ashes of Creation, I mean, this armor looks like it could have been made for some futuristic sci-fi game, not a fantasy-based MMO. Whereas this looks a lot more realistic. When you think about an orc out in the plains, like this looks like maybe this big cloak was made out of the leather of some animal he killed, and you can see where it was stitched together with other pieces of leather. And his other stuff is just pieces of wood that they've kind of wrapped metal around and used some metal studs. Like some basic blacksmithing skills here that you would expect of a tribal race, right? So this. And I think that's what's missed in a lot of MMOs is just the logic of it. Like it has to make sense. You can't just create a character and throw this really bizarre looking armor on him. It just looks weird. It doesn't even look like it belongs in this. This armor doesn't look like it belongs in the same world that this character belongs in, to me. Whereas this looks a lot better. What's another game that has really good armor? Guild Wars 2 is pretty good. Let's see if it's not great. I wouldn't say it's great, but I wouldn't say it's bad. You know, you can see here, it's not great, but it's not bad. You know, a lot of their armor just it looks a little bit paper thin. Like to me, this plate looks like it's very thin. But that's and actually in real life though, plate armor is actually pretty thin. The plate armor the Knights wore in the in the medieval ages was pretty thin. It's not really bulky because it would be too heavy to physically equip. So that is realistic. So here's some Guild Wars 2. But, you know, again, this to me, this armor here that this person's wearing, and I don't know if this is real armor in Guild Wars 2, doesn't really look like it matches this particular race very well. So I'm not a fan of that. So the armor in Guild Wars 2 is not my favorite aspect of Guild Wars 2. What's a game that has really good armor, like an MMO? That's to me, where MMOs miss out a lot is on realism. Like, it's a fantasy game. Like, a good example of that was Aelion. Like, Aelion's armor was terrible. So if you look at Aelion, it was is it the Gladiator? No, the Warlord. Let's see if we can find a picture. Like, when I was playing the Warlord. So here's an example. Hopefully we can get a good high-res image of this. Okay. So this, I believe, is, yeah, you can see this is the Warlord class. So this is like basically like kind of like the tank in Aelion. Now they can have like a two-handed weapon, but they also can have like a shield. You can see here what's selected is like sword and shield icon. But this looks a little different. Looks like there might be some different classes, but this armor makes no sense. It looks like she's a freaking drum major in a fucking marching band, right? It makes no sense. Like these shoulder pads with like little cloth and like almost like a pirate cloak, like a pirate would wear, with pirate like cuffs that are rolled back with naval stripes on it, like from the Navy, and then some sort of a weird Roman metal chest plate, right? None of this really matches. So the design of your MMO has to make sense, you know? And so many MMOs get this wrong. And I don't know who their art designers are, but they just get it wrong. It doesn't look good, you know? I'm trying to think of an MMO that does it really well. WoW does a fairly decent job of it. The armor in WoW, at least it kind of matches. Like if you look at World of Warcraft, like a warrior armor, at least it's like plate, right? Like if you look at a warrior, I mean, at least he's wearing like plate armor. It's stupid looking. Like I was never a fan of this armor set, you know? This armor is like the original like tier 0.5 from vanilla. I mean, it's really stupid looking, but at least it looks like it's made out of metal, you know? Like he's a warrior, he's got plate on, right? Yeah, I'm really having a hard time thinking of a game. Lineage 2 had really good armor, but some of it was weird. Let's see, Lineage 2 fighter armor. Okay, so here you have like, and of course, you know, in MMOs they always like the female characters to look feminine, so they end up wearing stuff that really doesn't make a lot of sense. But you can see here, at least, you know, this is plate, this is like the warrior class, the fighter class, and they have a shield which is metal, and they have plate armor on their legs, which looks like real, kind of fairly realistic, you know, metal. And you can see the chest piece here looks like it's made out of metal, and she's got gloves that are also made out of metal. So this at least is a lot more on target with what, you know, someone should wear. But if you really talk about armor from medieval times, right, or fantasy-based armor, let's see if we can pull something up. Let's go to Bing.com. You know, this actually isn't. This one's more accurate. This is more accurate to what like medieval plate armor looked like. It was more like this, right? Well, I'm trying to think. There's got to be a game out there that has really good, you know, like gear. Black Desert's is not realistic. How about ESO? I think their gear was pretty decent. Is there a fighter class in ESO? I cannot remember. What's the Warden? This looks pretty good for like a leather class. But this house looks like it has a two-handed sword. So I'm not sure why they're wearing leather. That's just so bad. You can wear anything. Oh, that's right. In ESO, you can wear anything. Yeah, so there really aren't that many MMOs that do armor correctly. Let's get back to this real quick. But I'm sure there's MMOs I've played that do a good job of it. I just can't think of anyone right now. So this jumping off the ground to throw a fireball just is so stupid. And then he even not only did he jump up in the air and spin around, but then I think he spun around again. Watch, he'll jump up in the air and he's on an axis here of like, he's at an angle just to make it even more weird. And so he does like a 360 revolution on the way up, and then I think right before he throws the fireball, I think he literally does another 360. I mean, what are we watching? Like stupid like basketball or something? Like pirouetting? I don't know. It's like this is like the circus MMO. So watch. See, he spun 360. So that makes no sense, right? My mage is just gonna go up in the air and do a 360 after I've already done a 360 on the way up, right? It's just stupid. I mean, who comes up with this idea and says, I want my mage to spin 360 on the way up, and at the very top, right before he throws the fireball, I want him to do another spin. Hell, I might as well make him do a backflip too, and maybe pull a rabbit out of his hat. I mean, he's a magician after all. And he gets down to the ground really quick. So there's your fireball. And it's so cool we had to see it again, I guess. Your lightning bolt. Now the lightning bolt I like. The lightning bolt's actually really good. And that's, just nice simple animation. It's very fast. So I actually like the lightning bolt quite a bit. And once again, another 360. We have to spin in the air. And then for some reason slam to the ground before we summon our portal. I think this is the teleport. Oh no, it's the black hole. Cool idea. The black hole is a cool idea, but I don't like the whole, again, the floating up through the air like I'm Superman. I don't understand that. It just looks weird. The good thing though about it is that you can identify the spell pretty easily by the color of the. I mean, right now you already know it's black hole because of this really bright light and this kind of almost liquidy looking trail. So that's good. I mean, you want a combat system to have spells that are unique enough that they're easily identifiable. That makes it easier for PvP players to understand what's happening, Yeah, the lightning bolt looks really good. And the animation here looks good, but the whole floating up in the air just is stupid. It's not realistic. It's like, why would you do that? I don't understand. Why would you do that? All right, so now we've got. Now this is a really weird spell. This is the drain. So this is like a mind flay or a drain life. That we're going up in the air again, guys. I don't know why, but we're gonna float again. Maybe Steven in his wildest dreams, wants to be like a fairy, and he can fly around in the air, and he can be like, maybe he wants to be Peter Pan. I think Steven wants to be Peter Pan in his deepest, darkest dreams and wishes. Because he's floating like Peter Pan. It makes no sense. Why would you need to float off the ground here? I don't understand it. Let's watch it in normal speed. I mean, what's the point? You did the life drain, and then up here you had these like little explosions in your hands. Like, what are these for? Is that like when the health actually comes back to you or something? Weird. Very strange. Now, he's hit him. Now, what happens when this explodes? Is there an effect on the enemy? There is not. There's no effect on the enemy, but there's these two explosions near his hands. Don't know why. Now, here's the teleport. Now, the problem I have with the teleport is it looks cool, but the particle effect, look how big it is. Imagine 10 people. Imagine there's a open world fight and there's like 20 people, and 3 or 4 people are casting these at the same time in the same area. It's like the whole screen's just gonna fill up with this purple shit, right? That's just one character. Look at all that. I like how it warps the screen. Watch how it warps the image behind. Watch behind this. The tree should be warped. You can see them warped here. They're doing some sort of a blur of the rendered stuff behind. See how it's all warped? That's kind of cool, but it's a little jarring. A little bit overdone, I think. But it'll probably happen so fast. And once again, we are Peter Pan, and we are floating. Once again, we're floating in the air. Because we have to float in the air to cast a spell. And of course, this is another easily identifiable skip spell, which, like I said, I think is good. Well, he certainly made the spells identifiable. Each one has a very unique and clear to see animation. This one I think is really cool, but again, I don't see it. There's no contact on the player, so if you notice, it just looks like it's shooting through them. I don't think the player themselves is really. There's really any particle effects that are. I don't see anything affecting the player. There was one little kind of explosion. Did you see that? But the rest of it's just kind of going through them, and there's really nothing hitting the player here. There's just these little intermittent explosions, which, you know. See, and there's another one. But other than that, this is just a... I mean, if this person wasn't standing there, the particle effect would look exactly the same. I would rather see this hit them and not go through them. Like, hit them and stop on them, and then have sparks flying off of their body. That would look way cooler. But the other concern with this ability is, once again, what if there's 10 people casting this ability in the same area? Man, you're not going to be able to see shit. Lightning bolt, prismatic stream, or whatever it was, meteor, storm. There you go. So, silly stuff. Summoner. This is World of Warcraft. What is this? They're talking about Ashes of Creation, but I'm seeing a video for World of Warcraft. What is this? They were looking at the tank skills in Ashes of Creation during its pre-alpha, and substituting their spells for similar ones in other popular MMOs. Okay, this is WoW. Most of these are WoW. Yeah. I'll give Ashes one thing. I do like the music that they've come up with for their kind of theme music. I really like it, especially because it's a piano and I love the piano. So I give them a lot of credit for that. Again, the armor just looks a little out of place. It doesn't. It's just. I hate it when I see character models like this where their skin is. It's such a jarring. You know, it's such a jarring effect to see the skin go into the metal here. they just don't look like they belong together. You know what I mean? It's hard to get it right, really. It really is. This is an issue that happens in a lot of MMOs. Um, but if you have this kind of like really clear and definable patterns in the armor, the character's face has to have more detail. It looks too blurry and kind of smooth on the skin. And so when you hit the metal with all the engravings in the metal, and the metal rivets here, it's too jarring. There needs to be more detail in the face, more wrinkles, more just more defined. It has to be much higher resolution of the actual face. A really good example of this would be Senua's Sacrifice. And actually, these type of games do it really well. If you look at Horizon Zero Dawn, a lot of the armor in there, this kind of, you know, this is much more realistic armor. I mean, you can see she's very tribal. She's got the leather armor, leather bag, and you got fur from an animal. Her hair is just tied to some dreads almost, but you know, I mean, look at that combat. Oh man, that is super cool. Now this is what we need. MMOs don't have a lot of real. The biggest problem in MMOs, they really don't have enough realism in them. Like, notice how she parried this guy's ability, right? She parried his weapon, and you see all the sparks fly. Why don't we see this in an MMO? How many MMOs have you seen where you have a parry ability, where someone attacks you, you have the option to actually hit a key that says, try to parry the attack. And if you do parry it, you see this kind of beautiful sound, this king, and the sparks fly. I mean, how effing cool would that be in an MMO? And yet we don't see it. There's very few MMOs that have a basic parry mechanic that looks like this. The other thing too is you can make gear and the gear grind a lot simpler in an MMO, right? So you can make it such that this two-handed sword has a chance to parry, has a much higher parry chance than like maybe a dagger because it's longer, it's bigger. There's more length on the blade to parry with. So if you wanted to play a specific character and your combat style is that you like to use your parry ability and you like to be able to parry people's attacks, especially in PvP, you would opt for a weapon that has a higher parry rating. So then an important factor for a weapon becomes parry. And that has nothing to do with magic, has nothing to do with, plus strength or plus whatever. It's not glowing swords. So there's lots of ways to make weapons and combat interesting without having it to be based on magic. You know what I mean? And that's something we don't see a lot in MMOs, and that's something that I wish we would. We would see. Look at this beautiful spin attack. You know, but this is a console game, right? Console game, much more like Souls kind of, and you got to realize this is, and again, so he's going for an overhand attack. This player here is she's now. I don't know if I haven't played this game, but just imagine this is an MMO. This character goes for an overhand strike. You see it coming. You say, "Oh, he's going to do an overhand." I can go into my block maneuver and block it. But it was a powerful overhand strike, and even though she blocked it, it knocked her sword away and kind of staggered her. And again, now we have seen that in a few MMOs. If you ever played Ion, Ion has a stagger. Terra even has a stagger. Terra has the ability when someone comes in and tries to do a chain of abilities, you can interrupt a couple chains of their abilities by using a specific ability that can stagger them and interrupt their combo. But you have to time it just right. And again, we don't see that enough in MMOs. Another block. Another block. Dodge. Miss. I don't know if that's like a finishing move or what, but she's going to town. But the reason I brought up Hellblade is because I knew that the armor would make more sense with the character. What she's wearing makes more sense with the theme and the style of this tribal, almost Viking-esque world that she's in. And I think when you're making an MMO, you need to make the armor really fit the characters, and it has to be specific to the races, like where they come from. When you look at um, dwarves in Lord of the Rings, I mean, they have a specific look to their gear, right? And you look at the elves, they have a specific look to their gear, but you have to take a lot of time to make sure that it matches and that it makes sense, right? We see all the time in MMOs and in Alien. My I was playing my warlord in Alien, and my character was walking around in what looked to me like a it wasn't a dress, but it was like I was wearing it's like I was basically wearing leather, like some sort of a leather shirt with like a leather skirt or leather short pants. And I'm a freaking warlord with a shield and a massive, you know, axe. Why would I be wearing I mean, it didn't make sense to me, at all. And this armor here, as you can see, it doesn't look good on this character model. And this is something that MMOs constantly get wrong. And we as the consumers of MMOs don't do a good enough job of fighting back, of saying, you know what, this looks like shit, and comparing it to other games. It doesn't have to be an MMO. We compare it to Senua's Sacrifice. We can compare it to Horizon Zero Dawn. We can compare it to even Breath of the Wild. There's so many other console games that have characters in armor that look fantastic. So why can't we get it right in an MMO? It's because they're fast tracking it. They're like, yeah, it's good enough. They know that as MMO players, we'll be happy if we have the basic systems that we always are used to. We have the questing systems, we have the Holy Trinity, we have dungeons, we have PvP. If they just throw those systems at us with some monetization, they know they can get money out of us. But we need to stop being so nice to them, and we need to start pushing back and saying, no, that's not good enough. That is not good. I'm not going to buy your game. I'd rather play this other game that looks a hell of a lot better than your game, right? And I see it all the time. The people defending MMO companies, and they need to stop doing that. Now, if you look at Sega, what is it? What's the Phantasy Star? If you look at Genesis, now the armor. Do we have the character creator in here? Let's see, Phantasy Star Online, Genesis.
Characters.
I wanted to show you the Phantasy Star Online Genesis character creation because it's so good, right? Hopefully he'll go in and show the individual, like, it's cool. What I like about Phantasy Star is it's very like sci-fi. It's one of those rare MMOs that has like some kind of sci-fi looking outfits, but they look really good. Like their armor and stuff fits the character models really well. See if he goes into the. Yeah, they've got in here where they've got the sliders. They also have a lot of like additional stuff in Phantasy Star Genesis, which is really cool. So I'm really looking forward to this game. But it sucks that it's like kind of on the Microsoft Store. I hope that it'll be available on Steam, like Phantasy Star was available on Steam. So I'm actually looking really forward to playing this game because the combat in this game is actually really good. Oh, you played it, Reptilian? How did you get in the closed beta, dude? I'm so jealous, Reptilian. I heard the combat was fucking awesome. Yeah, I heard the combat was really good.
Looks good. Voices.
Now, if you go to my channel, here's my character. Here's my character in the original Phantasy Star. Look at that. Look at that purple looking like metallic armor. And she's all robotic looking, like a robot. You can see the lines in her back and in her legs. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, you're running around just fighting. Dude, how did you get into the? I never applied for the closed beta, and it was weird. It was all through like Microsoft Store. I wasn't really happy with that. So, anyway, let's get back to WoW. I got sidetracked, but I think that MMOs need to do a much better job of coming up with armor that really fits and looks good for the period. Another good game is that actually I think looks pretty cool, at least for the world. Is I'm not going to be able to remember the name. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma, the world is what's so cool about Dragon's Dogma. Let's see if we've got here.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So we've played through about 35 RPGs on the channel now since it began.
I don't know who this guy is, but cool thing. Let's see if we can fast forward a little bit here. Yeah, so you can see here Dragon's Dogma. So the armor in Dragon's Dogma is a little bit more realistic, and it fits the characters fairly well. It's not the best looking game from the character's point of view, but the world itself is highly detailed. God, he's got so much, but not a lot of footage in game. Here we go.
Your big two-handed beefy
But
fighter in the front, and also
what I like about Dragon's Dogma is it's a little bit dated graphically, but there's a lot of detail in the elevation and the erosion. I've seen more erosion in Dragon's Dogma than in most MMOs. There's a lot of like when you're walking down a path, they do a lot of attention to the detail of the fact that a lot of people would walk this path, or you could even see wheels, like the wagon wheels have dug in trenches in the path, and that actually shows up in the town. And you can also see areas where the town has running water, where the water would run out from like rain, like almost like gutters, and it would erode the ground. And that attention to detail you don't see a lot in MMOs, and that's to me the thing that we haven't seen in a long time is really someone who makes an MMO who's taken the time to really polish the game. I mean, really polish it. Like put the detail in the textures, make sure the armor looks like it fits the character. Make sure the armor looks like it fits the period or fits the world. Everything in the game should look like it belongs there. When you see a character from World of Warcraft, you know it's World of Warcraft because World of Warcraft has a certain style and look. Same thing with Guild Wars 2. Same thing with Phantasy Star Online. And the good MMOs will always have a look that you know it's that game instantly. It's instantly identifiable because the world is cohesive. It all looks like that. It's not jarring. When I look at Ashes of Creation, it's very jarring. Like the characters, Another the worst game I can comment on that is Star Citizen. In Star Citizen, the ships they look like they're out of place compared to the planets. So if like you're in a ship and you're coming in to land on a planet, the planet looks a certain way. It looks like it was rendered in a completely different game engine than the ship was. They just look so different. The ship's got sharp angles and it's glossy and shiny, and the planet's all like, progressively, or what's the word? It's like it's procedurally generated and it just looks different, So I never bought Hellblades. I did buy a really cool hoodie that I had shipped all the way from Ninja Theory in Europe for this game, and I'm a big fan of Ninja Theory. They're a great gaming company. And I never bought the game, but I actually have been waiting for it to get really cheap, and it was really cheap a couple weeks ago, and I almost bought it. But I'm gonna have to play it. But it's not really my type of games. Those single player like Dark Souls type games, I don't usually play a whole lot. But just looking at the WoW armor, they do a pretty good job. The armor in WoW. Here's another great picture that just shows you how everything looks like it. They all looks like it belongs in the same world, right? You can see that the dinosaur and the texture and the trees and the armor of the character, it all looks like it belongs in the same game, which is a good thing, right? Let's look at Pantheon. And I think they've come kind of a long way in Pantheon, but they still have a long way to go. We can get into these images to come up close enough to where we can actually really see them. Yeah, see, this is such a small image. Yeah, that's not good. This is an older image here. Most of these images I've already seen. Yeah, and if this is, I don't think this is from Pantheon. I'm not sure what that's from. That can't be Pantheon. That's something else. This actually is Pantheon. Yeah, that is. And that doesn't look too bad. I mean, I've always thought the armor and stuff and then there's Joppa. You can see Joppa. Doesn't look too bad. The buildings and the ground and everything look decent. You know, the art style, the graphics aren't super great in Pantheon, but they're not bad, right? I wish we could get some really high res images. I think probably the best thing we could probably do is just, you know, go and look at the streams. You know, you take a look at, let's see, Nathan. You can see here
Nice.
what the game
Okay,
looks
there it
like.
is.
So it kind of looks almost like Skyrim, right? Like when you watch Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. I mean, when I look at this, it kind of looks like Skyrim. They've done a better job with the armor. This armor looks way better than it used to. One thing I don't like about Pantheon is the skin textures of the character models. They're not highly detailed enough, and they've got some interesting colors. Like the dwarves are blue. They look blue, which is really weird. And the orcs are really kind of orangish red, which is okay. You know, we've seen lots of red orcs. But it looks like Elder Scrolls. Like, look at that. Like, look at these people. Like, when you see these character models and kind of the way this looks, it looks a lot. It reminds me a lot of like an Elder Scrolls game, you know? Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also it's not necessarily a good thing either. Hold on one second.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's actually disorienting.
Much easier.
Here's a really nice screenshot here. This is them inside of a dungeon. Now they've got the typical, you know, they got the typical EverQuest, you know, like compass here, which is kind of funny. This was also in that other game that Brad McQuaid made. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head right now, but he made another game as well that, you know. But this is also it's an EverQuest 2, the other game that Brad McQuaid worked on. So he always has this same kind of really plain UI that's very basic, like the font's basic. You know, there's nothing really special about the icons and everything. They're clear and easy to see, but it's not a glitzy or, you know, these buttons here really don't match these overview and acclamation. These are really bad. They don't look like they belong on this window here, and the fonts and stuff are all kind of too small. They need to, you know, this could be done way better, but you know, whatever. But the world itself looks okay. I hate that targets, these just really basic color, you know, bars of color just don't look good at all. They need to fix that. When I get in, I'll give them my feedback, and I'll pretty much grill them on most of this stuff. Because these aren't hard things to fix, you know. I think it's interesting to see the texture of the rock. The smokes, the particle effects in Pantheon are pretty good. You can see the smoke here and some of the blue spells and then the fire. I think the particle effects are actually pretty interesting. You know, again, lots of bright lights, and also the lighting in Pantheon is really good. If you look at the dungeon here, it's very dark. It's very kind of scary and ominous, which I really like. That's really good. You know, same thing here. You got a lot of like kind of smoke and mist, and I know if you get too close to these crystals, bad things I think can happen, and they're all over the place, so that's kind of tough to deal with. All these crystals, yeah, I guess you don't want to fight near them for some reason. Yeah, so interesting. I think Pantheon, I don't really like these weird. This is like some sort of the reason they have these tendrils coming out of them is they have some sort of an atmospheric or some sort of a buff. I think it has to do with the world. I can't remember. It's something to do with buffs that can help you navigate certain elemental effects in the world, I think. Don't quote me on that. But, anyways, I'm definitely interested in playing Pantheon. All right. Hey, what's up, Sam? Happy Thursday. You like green over here? You're playing your Blood Elf Pally? Nice. What level? Hey, what level is your Paladin? Oh, you just started? It's Friday? Dude, it's still Thursday here. It is 6:39 p.m. Thursday in Florida. New Zealand. I always wanted to go to New Zealand, man. You're level 20 in your chamois? Nice, Saj. Sweet. You're moving right along. Well done. Just finished your assignment. Nice. Yeah, New Zealand. I always wanted to go to New Zealand. It's so beautiful there. Yeah, I would love New Zealand. No, I haven't. No, right now I just have. I'm just using. Questy. I know Cargos was using. If you check out Cargos's channel, he's got some different, I think, newer quest add-ons he was using. I'm just using the old standby Questy. Good enough for me. Hmm. Yeah, there's so many people doing boosting right now.
Peace and prosperity.
got a little bit of a headache, so if I don't talk too much, that's why. So head's hurting a little bit. Just gonna try to power level through all these quests. Power through. They brag about where they are, and brag about where are the boosters. Well, you can't respect anybody now. Like you see people who are like level 39. I saw a level 39 shaman earlier, and I'm like, I have no respect for them because they probably boosted. Like, if you generally are like level 39 right now and you didn't do any boosting at all and you did it all solo, just doing quests and stuff, I'd be like, oh, cool, man, you're really, you're doing a good job playing the game the way it was meant to be played. Good. I'm glad they can't find any. I'm glad they can't find any. I'm not boosting my character. That's probably why I'm only level 12. When I created this character, what was it, yesterday when I created this character? I think it was yesterday, right? I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. Oh, I'm losing my mind. It might have been the day before. I'll have to look at my YouTube stream. Let's take a look. My first shaman video was 19 hours ago. So yesterday. Oh no, 1 day ago. Okay. Oh, there's 2 of them. No! No! Big sneeze. Oh shit. Oh shit, snacks. No, wrong spell, douchebag. Ooh, did I reset them? Nice. Hmm. Yeah, what's hey Phil, how's it going? I think I'm having bad luck because I'm playing like a moron. I got a little bit of a headache. You know what? I got some Advil here though. Let me take a. Yeah, I totally jumped off the side of the rail there. I was like, whoops. All right. A little bit of a missed time to jump there. Yeah, we haven't gotten the quest item yet, fortunately. But you know, I always have bad luck getting the quest item in here. The voodoo belt or voodoo whatever it is, voodoo charm. Yeah, actually, I started in the. I mentioned yesterday, Phil, that if you were watching, you would make fun of me because remember you're like, oh man, when the pre-patch comes out, you can play like a shaman and you can do the shaman quest and you won't be so burned out because you'll be doing stuff you don't normally do. And what's the first thing I did, Phil? I did a few shaman quests, then I got a port to Stormwind, did a bunch of Stormwind quests, and then I ran back over to the Night Elf area and got all the flight up paths for the Night Elf area. You know, and here I am doing like my normal leveling path. So yeah, I'm in the Night Elf zone. And actually, in my defense, the Exodar area, Phil, was really overcrowded. So it was actually hard doing the quest there because you're competing with so many other shamans, so many other Draenei. I say shamans because most of them are shamans, but yeah, I said yesterday, I mean, I go, Phil's gonna be laughing at me because I'm not. Here I am playing a new character, and I just run off to Stormwind, you know. Well, tomorrow we'll be playing Swords of Legends online, Sword of Legends online, and actually, you know, the feedback on it's been fairly good. You know, I think it could be a pretty fun game, and it's more of a PvE based game, and it doesn't have any RNG either, so that's good. So it doesn't have like the RNG. I think it'll be fun. You know, I don't think it's going to be amazing or anything, but I definitely think it'd be a game that could be a distraction for a little while, something fun to play that's different. Yeah, the Space Ghost starting area is kind of boring. I like the Blood Elf. The Blood Elf area is a little bit more fun, I think. Am I going the right way? I don't think so. He's down below. Yeah, he's down below. Yeah, I like the Belf. I like the Belf starting zone a lot better. I like the undead over there. I think the zones are way better and more interesting. Yeah, it felt rushed, didn't it? It felt like they just rushed it out. Said, "Oh, we'll just have this spaceship." Yeah. Yeah, they didn't think it out. Did you catch my Draenei's name, Phil? Fallen Sky? Because I fell from the sky? I think I told you already.
For the good of all.
I did all the quests, Phil. I even did the very starting the starting area for the Night Elves. I did every single quest. So if you look at my reputation with Darnassus, it's already, it's already friendly, almost honored, because I did all the quests. The awesome, yeah, yeah. I always have a hard time picking names for characters, just because they're either already taken or I've already used them for other characters. Uh, Ooh, the colorful kill. 13, 14, 15. You are now honored with Darnasis. Honored. Honored. Get to the chopper. Honored. I wish I had a lot more arcane, spell power. I might check the auction house, see if we can get some more arcane spell power. I love arcane missiles so much. Um, if I think you have to get to Exalted, so yeah, we have to do a lot of work to get to that point, Phil. Pretty sure you have to be Exalted. But yeah, it would be nice to, it'd be cool to have a space goat riding around on a kitty. That would be very cool. Make it so.
Akiankor, we stand united.
You could ride a real goat. Well, we can still do Dunmorrow at another point. I think a goat on a goat would be kind of neat, though. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. We could do the Ultrarog Valley, Phil. We could just grind Ultrarog Valley till we can get the white mountain goat, which is my favorite goat mount, is the Ultrarog Valley mount. But that would probably be even, I don't know, that might even be harder to get. Well, probably not. If we just have to do a lot of Ultrarog Valley. I mean, a lot. We'd have to do a Ultrarog Valley day and night for a couple weeks. It depends on the server. I don't know. I haven't done any AV at level 60 on this realm, but I thought I had heard that Gravius did pretty well in AV at 60, so maybe. Yeah, you never know. I mean, with me in there as a mage, we could do some serious damage, right? Oh, shit. I'm pretty much a noob mage, though. I haven't done much. I haven't played a mage much at all in WoW. I did do it quite a bit in, I believe, Cataclysm or Wrath of the Lich King, and I just did some arena up to around 1890. But I was completely, out of my element. It wasn't a class that I play a lot, so we'll have to do some skilling up. Hey, what's up, Luxon? Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. I got a little bit of a headache right now. But other than that, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. Hope everybody's doing good today. Try to get this space goat up to 60. No, without boosting. I will be partaking in no boosting. Do it the old-fashioned way. It's the Space Goat! Space Ghost! You guys ever remember Space Ghost, the cartoon? I loved that cartoon. Space Ghost! Oh, actually I'm done, aren't I? Yep. Only needed 6 of them. I went with a pretty light skin tone. Face has got that crazy glow to it. I wish they didn't have that. Look how it's like glow. Not a fan of that. There we go. Looks better. Now I can see your face. We got a level 1 Night Elf Druid.
May the Naru bless you and yours.
I forgot to get it, didn't I? Oh no, I did get it. Whew. Yeah, I got it. The Crown of Earth. Sweet. Yeah, you can see I'm doing the Crown of Earth quests. That means I had to go and do all the beginning quests in Shadowglen, which I did. I did every single Night Elf quest in this zone so far.
Goddess bless you.
I haven't done the cave yet, though. Get that one on. Let's get that one. Actually, you know what? Let's vendor first. My inventory is crazy full. Nice.
Ishnu Allah. Asha Fela.
No! Don't stop making them. So the space goats they're a little bit taller than the night elves, I think. And the night elves are very tall. But it looks like I'm maybe a little bit taller. Let's see. Yep, we're a little bit bigger. And the night elves are huge, so Draenei are a very big class. And I took off her mage shirt and gave her the Neophytes shirt, which I don't even remember what class that comes from, but it's not a mage. No, I can't. I don't think I can do a front flips, but we do float really nicely. See the little float? We do the space goat float. Yeah, but no front flips, unfortunately. The Night Elves are the coolest. The Night Elves, I think, are the best character models in the game. As far as like their walk animations and the way they do flips and stuff is really cool.
Elun Adore. May the stars guide you.
Yeah, I always felt that the first character model probably created was the orc or the night elf. I think it was the night elf, and I think the armor was originally crafted to fit a night elf. Because when you look at the armor on night elves, it just looks like it was made for them. It just fits them better than any other class, I think. Yeah, the tabards look stretched on everybody. It kind of stinks, you know. Of course, a lot of it's the female boobs just kind of get in the way.
What brings you here? Asha Fala.
You love your boobs.
What brings you here? May the stars guide you. Peace be with you.
What brings you here?
Hey, I'll see you, Luxoon. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can get up to level 19 so we can start using my plus 30 spell damage dagger that Ken gave me, or loaned to me. I'll give it back to him when I'm done, since it's a white dagger. Yep, level 13. Oh, you're level 7? Nice. Nice. I'm level 13. Once we get to 14, we've got a staff here we can use, which it's got plus fire damage on it. And then we've got the kilt and the blue overalls at level 14 and 15, and they both have increased damage by spells, so that's nice. I think I've got a cold, guys. Maybe COVID, who knows? But I'm definitely feeling under the weather today. Damn, she just killed the person I need. Ah! Oh, it's the elite one. It's like bugged. Weird. Lucky with the gears? What do you mean? Oh, you don't even have bags yet? Oh, well, I sent all these bags over for my other characters. So, I even bought myself a couple of Mooncloth bags that for 22 gold each. Just because I might as well. I had the money. There he is. Invalid target. Oh, you can't sheep a demon. Oh, nice.
We stand united.
Greetings, Delnadris.
Feel free to browse. May the stars guide you. Elune be with you. Go in peace. I am listening. Be careful.
Can I assist you? May the stars guide you. I am honored.
For the good of all. May the Naru bless you and yours.
Mm. These Draenei are a little bit harder to judge for jumping than Mahiman. Oh well. It's probably because I had it in that other view. I jump a lot better when I'm not in the action cam full view. The Cinderai Warblade. Oh, Cinderai Warblade. Oh. Which one are you talking about? Which Warblade is that one? I don't remember that one, Sam. Is that like something in the later quests? Is that the one that's in that tower in the Ghostlands? In that little building with all the... At the end of the kind of stripped, desolate stretch of land going through the Ghostlands there's that big building and it's got all those mobs in there, and I know there's a quest that ends up in there. Is that where you get the Cinderai Warblade? I can't remember. I know they give some decent rewards in some of those quests. some blue rings and stuff like that. Oh, really? What? Oh, this guy. You little bastard.
Asha Fela.
All right, guys, I got a little bit of a headache, so I'm actually gonna. I think I'm gonna take a break, let this Advil kick in. I feel like I'm getting a cold or something. I feel kind of feverish, but I'm definitely gonna come back and play again tonight. And I'm not really tired. I just don't feel that good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lie down, maybe watch a little TV or something, and but I'll be back in a couple hours because I want to get 2 or 3 hours, but I'll definitely be back because I want to get this character up a lot higher. She's like 13 now. I want to get her down to over to Darkshore and start doing all those quests and get her close to 19 because I really want to get to where I can equip the plus 30 spell damage dagger of yumminess. I actually need to look in the auction house to see what other kind of gear we can get for this character. Right now I just have these level 14 items here, which look really funny. These overalls with this skirt looks hilarious. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. I'll be back in a couple hours. Yeah, I don't feel real good right now. It's like a fever. I'm feeling feverish and headache, so let me lie down for a little bit. I'll be back later. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.